Remote live real-time audio description, science fiction, technological dream, or the new reality. 7th Live Subtitling and Accessibility Symposium, 5th and 6th November 2020. Universitat Autônoma de Barcelona, Ana Júlia Perrotti Garcia, CEO, Tradusound, Audiovisual Accessibility. My name is Ana Júlia Perrotti Garcia. I live in Brazil and work with translation and audio description. I'm a middle-aged woman with light brown curly hair, green eyes, clear framed glasses, and protruding cheeks. I have been the CEO of an accessibility company for about 5 years, having also worked translating for many agencies scattered around the globe. On top of that, I'm a voice talent, and I have a radio program called Bulletin of Audiovisual Accessibility. In case you want to contact me, please feel free to send me an email to drajulia@gmail.com. Every time a table is shown in my presentation, it will be read and detailed. My slides all have the same general layout, white background and black letters. In March 2020, the need to preserve everyone's health led to unprecedented situations for most of us. Social distancing, quarantine, and a reduction of urban mobility. The new normal of meeting remotely in enclosed space created a gap in people's lives, making it impossible for them to go to shows, plays, films, sports events, or exhibitions. Gradually, live performances emerged, these being aired over the internet to a growing group of spectators. In the music world, singers and bands of all genres started to give online performances. Some were very artisanal, while others had musicians located in different parts of the country or even the world, in studios, nightclubs, or even temples. These live shows were broadcast over the internet by some YouTube channels and social media. People with disabilities began to request that events be broadcast with accessibility resources. In Brazil, translation into Brazilian Sign Language, called Libras, is widespread because Libras is Brazilian's second official language after Portuguese. This is not the case with subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, STH. Unfortunately, in my country, there is a false yet widely held belief that one can choose between offering either sign language interpretation or subtitling. Audio description is another accessibility resource found less frequently in live shows in Brazil. When the president of Brazil's National Organization of the Blind, ONCB, contacted us to do the audio description of 3 musical shows, we saw this as a golden opportunity to publicize this accessibility feature, as well as promoting the inclusion of blind and visually impaired people. The first major obstacle was the need to maintain social distance. Therefore, we choose to do something unheard of until then: a remote live broadcast audio description of a musical show in real time. Up to that moment, we had never heard of any other remote live audio description transmissions in real time in Brazil. To make it possible to carry out this job, which counted on more than 20 professional people, each in their own home, we relied on descriptions being transmitted by radio so that the spectators could tune in to the sound of the description while watching the show through the platform of their choice, all at the same time. Viewers were advised to download the ONCB radio app and tune in to the radio half an hour before the show began to listen to the introductory notes. As an illustration, I now present the introductory notes of the third live show we worked on. The text is shown on the screen, already translated into English, and the phrases are displayed as I speak. Good evening. In a few moments, singers Maiara and Maraísa will be going live. The live show here at House 2, aqui em Casa 2, will start at 8 p.m. tonight, May 23rd, 2020. The live show will be held in a concert hall, with scenes especially prepared for the occasion. The setting is predominantly red in color, with the main theme being parties around the world, with vintage-style decor and antique accessories emblematic of past decades. The two singers are identical twin sisters. Maiara has long, straight, light red hair. Maraísa has long, straight, black hair. In the lower right corner of the screen, there will be a Brazilian Sign Language window, with interpreters who will take turns throughout the live show. The audio description team consists of 4 audio descriptors and 2 consultants. Tradusound, Audiovisual Accessibility, and ONCB wish everyone a great live show. End of notes. As you can see, the introductory notes follow a schematic model to provide information. After the welcome greeting, the singers are then introduced, and the time and the venue of the show are mentioned. Next, there is a brief description of the stage, a physical description of the singers, and of the visual elements that will be on the screen. Finally, the audio description team is presented. The introductory note ends with a final greeting on behalf of the companies organizing the transmission of the audio description. Back to the questions related to the audio description transmission. As up to that moment, we had never heard of any other remote live audio description transmissions in real time. We had to devise a means of communication between the team members, as each one was miles away from the others. We decided to create a WhatsApp group and chat only via text messages to avoid any risk of recorded messages leaking into the live performance. In this table, we present the 3 shows at which we performed the audio description with the names of the singers and the date of each performance. The contents of the table are presented with further details and comments. The first show by singer Marilia Mendonça lasted 7 hours, starting at 8 p.m. on Saturday, May 9th, and ending at 3 a.m. on Sunday the 10th. The 5 descriptors scheduled to the job took turns every 30 minutes. The second show, held on May 16th, featured the country duo Bruno and Marrone. The third and last show of the twin sister singers Maiara and Maraísa took place the following week, on May 23rd. The audio description team for the 3 shows is listed in the credits at the end of this presentation. In addition to the technical challenges of doing the description remotely, each of the live shows also had some specific challenges. In Marilia Mendonça's show, the preparation of the audio description script was quite laborious because In spite of receiving many materials from the producer, the settings, the costumes, and the stage were only finished on the day of the show. This meant that we had to use the singer's previous shows and the information she was posting on her social media throughout the day as a research source. In the second show, we knew that Marrone was a multi-instrumentalist and that, therefore, he would probably play several instruments, including acoustic and electric guitars, a ukulele, and an accordion. Foreseeing the use of all these instruments, we prepared the descriptions of the main ones to be used at the time of the show. The description of the accordion, which I present to follow, done by Fabrizio with Luigi's consultancy, received the most comments from the thousands of radio listeners who gave feedback on the audio description through radio's various communication channels. Marrone's accordion is some 50 centimeters tall. The musician hangs it on his shoulder and, with his right hand, plays a keyboard similar to that of a piano. With his left hand, he plays the bass keys, which are small lined-up round buttons that produce the bass sounds. In the case of this accordion, there are 120 bass keys. The right and left parts, treble and bass sections, are joined by a bellow, a flexible structure that must be compressed and stretched. This bellow can reach just over 1 meter wide when fully open. As the bellow is handled along with the keys and buttons, the air passes through small internal reeds, producing the sound. In the third show, the specific challenge was related to the scenes and the stages. The singers chose to do the show at a nightclub where 5 different scenes were set up. A raised stage with a baby grand piano, an English-style pub, an area with a giant screen where there were some drawings and interactions with the singers' social networks, the main stage of a vintage style, and in the background, a huge merry-go-round where the singers went in during the parts of the show. Participating in these 3 shows, doing remote live audio descriptions in real time, acting as a team comprising dozens of people to make these mega events accessible, made us face many challenges, but the result was extremely satisfying. We are happy to have left our contribution to the history of audio description in Brazil and in the world. Credits: General Supervision and Review, Ana Julia Perotti Garcia. Live shows audio description team, Ana Julia Perotti Garcia. Bel Ferreira, Fabrício Beltramini, Fernanda Brahentia, José Bob Fonseca, Kelly Alcântara, Luisa Brahentia, Mary Sabino, Nora Marks, Consultant and sound engineers Luigi Cashel and Rafael Nimoy. English translation Todd Harkin. Proofreading Paul Dixon. Subtitles Fernanda Brahentia. Acknowledgements. ONCB, Brazil's National Organization of the Blind, President Beto Pereira. Radio ONCB, Director Marcos Aurelio de Carvalho. The Tradu Sound team. In the bottom right corner of the screen, the Tradu Sound logo. Tradu Sound logo description. Above an image vertically divided into 2 parts, the left half is composed by 2 black triangles side by side, the one on the left being smaller and the right one larger. Above the smaller triangle, there is a black circle. The right part of the logo is formed by pink vertical lines of different sizes. The set schematically represents a sound wave, which is the visual representation of the word traduz sound. Below that, the expression traduz sound, audiovisual accessibility. A visually impaired person has finalized this video.